something in Watch Together? Because it looks. Oh, maybe is it zoomed in?
I don't know. Watch Together has not worked for me in a while.
Really?
Yeah.
I just see Metroid. I don't know what you guys are seeing.
That's all I see. I can't add anything. I can't.
Did you full screen it?
No, you didn't pay for the full version. You only have the trial.
No, it's not an issue.
It's like WinRAR, man.
It's not like WinRAR.
Some of my favorite memes is sort of like now that I finally have money, I can pay for WinRAR.
I just love in DBZ Abridged when Vegeta kills 19 as it's dying. It's like, would you like to buy WinRAR? Just the idea that the reason the android sucked is he was using freeware.
Could have had a V8.
Different.
Could have been a contender.
Okay. Though Watch Together's tentatively working for me right now. We'll see.
Oh, okay. All right, well, let's get started. Here we go.
Let's get it started.
No, you see, I say that, and that's not the cue for you to start singing.
The one thing that is frustrating for me about Watch Together, though, is that every time a new video comes back, even if I've turned the volume all the way down, now for some reason I just have the site muted. I'm just saying it didn't used to be that way.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Last time we streamed, we talked about Super Metroid. And Super Metroid is a game that is in very rarefied air because it is both in the time it was new, it was absolutely had the praises sung, and it's also held up as a completely timeless game. It's a true 10 out of 10 game. One of the ones that I think a large majority of the gaming audience would agree. And that gets to a bigger question of what makes a game 10 out of 10. This is episode 86 of I Think We Overleveled. We're going to tackle that exact topic because it's an interesting concept. How are you gentlemen doing today?
Doing all right.
I.e. in the Lucha.
Alive.
Still alive. All right. Well, so this is something I wanted to start with a 10 out of 10 game because as I was thinking about it, it's like, okay, what makes a game 10 out of 10? And I started looking through my own library, and the games I've spent the most time on haven't necessarily been games that I would consider 10 out of 10. For example, I have over 1,600 hours in Balatro. And
are you kidding?
Don't worry about it.
When did it come out?
I don't know, a long time ago.
You said an XCOM problem.
Yeah, no, so I will say Balatro does probably has about 200 inflated hours of I forgot to turn it off.
It came out 2 years ago.
Yeah, don't worry about it, as I said. More to the point, though.
XCOM Terror from the Deep.
Yeah, no, we're not. There's no glitches. It's just it does have some idle time. But more to the point. As much as I like Balatro, and I just think it has the most satisfying gameplay loop in terms of like a card game like that, I can't call it a 10 out of 10 game. Even if, like you say, what would I change about it? It's like, I wouldn't really change much about it. Like, I really like it, but I just don't know if I can call a game that only does one thing 10 out of 10.
It almost feels like, some genres for certain people, there's a cap. Like it can only get to an 8.
Yeah, even though
so an 8 out of 10 is a perfect score for that game or genre. But it's still not a 10 out of 10. You know
what it's like? It's how I don't know if you guys are familiar with gymnastics, where you can execute flawlessly, but if you don't try anything too high, you just can't get to a 10.
You need some
And-
ambition.
Yeah, well, and Balatro, and I'd say Balatro is very ambitious for what it is. It's just the issue is what it is. It's not definitely not going to try to do anything with the story, even though you can have a roguelike card game like Slay the Spire that actually does have some story elements to it, and I kind of like the flavor it adds. But it's just not something that I think can truly be 10 out of 10. It's the same reason why I'd say Team Fortress 2, even though I'd say it's the perfect team shooter. All the story stuff is outside the game. And I just don't think you can say 10 out of 10.
You can't, like, there are several aspects to gaming, and a lot of times a 10 out of 10 will hit all of them. There's the creativity, there's the gameplay, there's like all of the different things that people will rank. Typically, for a game to be a 10 out of 10, all of those things need to be a 10.
Yeah. Well, or it has to do something.
And so if it doesn't play in one of those categories, it by nature can't be a 10.
Yeah. So this is because
is this person playing with just the wave beam?
I don't know. They
I
weren't
don't
at the
really see
start.
that.
I just picked a random full speed run.
Mm-hmm.
But for example, I also think the game has to do something that, for something to be truly 10 out of 10, I think it has to change the landscape a little bit. And so for me, one of the ones that I find like that, I've talked about a lot, Hades. Hades took the entire roguelike genre, completely moved it to a different thing, and said, what if we actually gave like a lore, story-rich reason for the roguelike formula and have it make sense? What if we just absolutely massaged the artwork to be just perfect and the gameplay loop to be perfect? And now you're seeing a bunch of, things that are clearly inspired by Hades and trying to perfect that gameplay loop. Also, for the record, I chose this run because this person beats the game on a clean run, which I still just can't believe you can do. But people are insane.
What do you mean by clean?
So, like, this is a fresh install, so he has no upgrades, nothing.
Oh, no mirror. Oh, wow.
Yeah, nothing. And there are people who can do this. And it's just mind-boggling to me. But no, and so I don't know. I think on some level you have to do something that everyone else is starting to try and mimic it in some way.
Sometimes.
Yeah, like it's just where it's just like you got like people, it inspires imitation, I should say. The game has to be an inspiration to be a 10 out of 10. And I mean like in an artistic way, not in the, wow, this game made money, let's try and do that. Because
a lot of times that's what happens is a game, like people see that it made money and like, unfortunately, they see like a 10 out of 10 game comes out, it sells really well, and people say, ooh, that sells well, I want to do that. They have no idea why it sells well, and so they're copying everything and missing the important parts.
Of course, I mean, there's also the problem that what's a 10 out of 10 for one person is not going to be a 10 out of 10
oh
for
yeah,
another
like
person.
it's I mean like, we're talking about a completely subjective scale.
I love me some Hades. I
the mass appeal
10,
there.
though. So yeah, there's that issue. I do love me some Hades though.
But that's the point.
This one just scratched a very particular itch for Splice.
Well, I mean, and that's kind of the point. It's got to be a 10 out of 10. It does have to scratch a particular itch that you have.
Yes.
I think for something to be a 10 out of 10, even if it doesn't scratch your itch, you have to be able to see why someone would say it's a 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah. Yes. Agreed.
And this is one of those, I see why for you this is a 10
Like,
out of 10.
I
It's
can
not a 10
see
out of 10
why.
for me as well, but it's an excellent game.
But I do think one thing that is often not always the case, but if you can appreciate that style of gameplay, even if it's not scratching your itch, it's still going to rank pretty high on your scale for it to be someone's 10 out of 10. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, Hades is a great example. I can see why it's your 10 out of 10, but that's because it's also like an 8 for me, you know?
The other thing is, like I was talking about, there's different categories that it needs to hit the mark on, all of them. And I think one of those is just personal preference. But
Yes.
it's only one of those.
Like, if you're okay if I change the video, talk about another one.
Yeah,
like,
go right ahead.
Here's an example where it's a 10 out of 10 for me, but I could see how people who aren't into RPGs wouldn't say Persona 5 is a 10 out of 10. But
I'm
once
into
again,
RPGs, and
you
it's
loved
just
it.
not my style. So
Yeah.
You see, Splice, not an RPG guy at all.
Correct.
But he enjoyed Persona 5.
Yeah, and part of it's because it decided to do some very different things that I haven't seen done in an RPG before. Now, I also can't say I understand what those things are different in Persona 5 versus a different Persona game, just because I haven't delved into those before. But all I knew was when I saw the game the first time and they were just the menus were stylish. I'm like, okay, I've never seen something like this before.
Like, right here, we're seeing the start menu of Persona 5. Granted, you played Royale, so
Yeah.
it wasn't the screen, but that screen, I was so fascinated by how they animated that I spent like a good 15 minutes just playing around with this menu before I hit new game. Because I'm just like, whoa, everything they've done with this menu is amazing. And yeah, the other Persona games did not put in nearly as much effort into the menus. Which, I mean, that's kind of silly. Like, wait, one of the reasons why it's a 10 out of 10 is because of the menus? Like, if you played Persona 5, you understand that, yes, the menus themselves can make a difference in how a game feels. And, you've actually touched on something because you weren't able to compare it to previous Persona games, whereas I was, right? I actually feel the most important part of what makes a game a 10 out of 10, the most important thing it has to do for every person is it has to exceed your expectations.
Ooh,
That is,
I kind of like that. That's a good definition.
I can agree with that.
I've been struggling trying to come. That's a really good definition as a baseline.
Yeah, and that is the most important thing, 100%. Which is the reason why if someone tells you, "Hey, this game's a 10 out of 10," most of the time when you play it, you're like, whatever, it wasn't that great.
The height that gets too overhyped.
It got too overhyped.
Yeah.
Obligatory demand for Splice to play Expedition 33.
Yeah.
I will say, as much as I don't feel this is a weird thing to say because I haven't played it, I don't get the impression Expedition 33 has been overhyped, which is a weird thing to say for something that won all the awards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and Persona 5 was kind of the same way too.
Not every gamer pays attention to the awards too.
Yeah,
right? So.
Yeah.
Well, but
I'm just saying,
I have, and so, but I still, I don't. I'm not getting the impression it's overhyped.
It's not just at the Game Awards. It won all the awards.
Yes, multiple different awards.
I think it got a significant record actually,
and
it surpassed the record.
But I mean, the point I'm getting is even for both Persona 5 and Expedition 33, even with the hype, it still exceeded people's expectations when they finally played it. And as someone who played Persona 4 and absolutely loved Persona 4, and when I played Persona 4, I felt like it was, RPG, that style of RPG, contemporary, setting perfection. And then Persona 5 comes out, and it even exceeded Persona 4. Like, it still exceeded my expectation, and I had incredibly high expectations from Persona 4. And I do feel like that's the most important thing. That's also part of the reason why, another one of my 10 out of 10 games, And a lot of my favorite games are games that I had heard absolutely nothing about. No hype, no nothing. I'm just at a game store. I see it on a shelf. It looks interesting. I'm familiar with the developer. I hadn't heard much about it.
Okay,
I pick
so
it up.
you're leading me straight into another game I want to discuss in that regard.
Okay.
Portal.
Well, yeah.
I
actually did know what I was getting into with Portal, thanks to someone, trying to listen to a linear algebra lecture, and someone just shoves their earbud in my ear, and I suddenly start hearing GLaDOS start talking.
Yeah, well, so for me, because Orange Box, I was excited for, specifically for Half-Life episodes 1 and 2. I wanted that, and I had seen some of the TF2 meet the team trailers, and I was interested in that. Portal was something I had no expectations for. And this is why I find Portal to be a very interesting game, because I thought about, okay, does a 10 out of 10 game have to be something that I always come back to? And then I realized, no, because I don't go back to Portal, because it's a puzzle game. You can't ever go through a puzzle game the same way twice.
I go back to Portal and Portal 2 just for the story.
Yeah, which the story
because
is very well
it's
executed.
It's some fun storytelling.
And this is
that's a remarkable job in storytelling.
Yeah. Well, and on top of it, just the depth of I've played Portal probably 3 times. The first time, obviously. The second time, having to help our roommate Mark, who is the most frustrating person to watch play Portal.
Oh gosh.
He was not good at it, and it drove me insane. But the other is when I played through it with commentary on, which if you've never gone through the Portal commentary, and especially if you're someone interested in game design, you are doing yourself a disservice.
I haven't. Yeah, I've done the TF2 commentary. I have not done the Portal commentary.
It's really well done. And it's just, again, Valve only hires the best. And Portal is one of the best games in terms of just letting the player feel clever while quietly trying to lead them to the solution.
Well, correct me if I'm
it's
wrong.
Almost 20 years since this came.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The game originated as just like a physics engine experiment. Didn't it? Like
the original thing, it was inspired
submission.
It was a submission to a contest called Narbicular Drop, and it was fantasy based. And the reason the lore based reason because it was a bunch of students who made the game. The lore-based reasons why this character was having to do these magical portals to get everywhere was she was a princess who had no knees, so she could not jump. And so she needed to create portals to be able to move vertically, which is a hilarious justification for anything. And some person named Gabe Newell happened to be at this whatever this event was, saw it, and then he said, I want to hire you people. And that led to
everyone knows what a bad decision that was.
Yes, it was. But like small things here, like they purposely place bends in a certain way so that they can control where your eye goes. That's all they're looking to do, is control where your eye goes, so that they can lead you to good solutions without telling you good solutions, which unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of commentary on like yellow paint in the gaming world, because that takes it to an extreme.
It's hand-holding.
Yeah, that I don't like. But at the same time, Valve would try to do it with lighting and positioning. Like here, we're going to put...
right there, you walk in, you see the box drop, and it falls down somewhere. You're like, wait, where did that go?
That's the thing, yeah. I mean, Valve is in a manner of speaking, just as guilty of the yellow paint, but they don't use any different colors. They just use clever layouts and lighting, and it looks more natural.
Well, and that's what differentiates it from yellow paint.
Whereas yellow paint looks very much unnatural.
Rather than
you know what the start of the yellow paint was? It was actually Mirror's Edge, which was
I was going to say Mirror's Edge. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know how Mirror's Edge could have been done without it, though.
What are you talking about? That was
didn't
red paint.
Bother me. It didn't bother me, but
was it red paint in Mirror's Edge?
it was red.
It was
red.
just
Either
red
way.
in general. You were supposed, but because Mirror's Edge was going for a very different feel.
Well, yeah, they were going super fast paced, where if you didn't have that obvious color, you didn't have time to see anything else. So they needed to have something that really popped. But then slower paced games that didn't need that took it anyway.
Yeah, the yellow feels more along the lines of Horizon Zero Dawn is the one that always stands out to me.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, did you see I want to say was it Awkward Zombie, where she's like, oh, I can't climb up, and then she grabs a bucket of paint, paints a line, and then climbs up.
Oh, that's funny.
No. All right. So we also talked about exceeding expectations recently. Baggins, I'm leading you into your recent obsession.
Well, yeah. So first off, like y'all were saying, exceeds expectations. One line that I've heard or has come to mind in every game that fits this for me is this feels like it was designed by someone who loves playing games.
Yeah, yeah.
And, because that just doesn't happen in some games. So Astrobot, this game came out a couple years ago.
2 years ago.
And it won Game of the Year. And I just didn't play it until recently. I saw, I've had it on my list for a long time because everybody's been talking it up. And I bought it. Unfortunately, it arrived while a friend of mine was borrowing my PS5 because I wanted him to play Expedition 33. And so I just got it back like a week ago, popped this game in. And this game, it just, again, it feels like a love letter to PlayStation gaming. From the PS1 all the way up to the PS5. And it's just the most charming game, but the controls feel good. The humor's there, the animation's there, the sound is there, the little sound effects that come out of the controller. That's one thing. Because this is made by Sony, they were able to put more time into developing for all of the bells and whistles that the PS5 has. Because a third-party developer is not going to develop to that because they got to develop to all the systems they want to publish on. And this game just feels like, hey, we know everything the PS5 can do, and so we're going to do it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. The prototype for this game, Astro's Playroom, was the PS5 tech demo. So they already had the knowledge.
Yes.
And expanded it.
But then they went back into the entire PlayStation and Sony back catalog and just pulled every single freaking character. Or every game, at least, not every character, because there were a few. Splice was, expressing his upset that certain games only got one character and others got like 8. And he was like, in which one? Like Crash Bandicoot, the only representation was Crash. And like all of these big games, and then there's, like what was the Monkey Escape or
Monkey Ape Escape?
Oh, Ape Escape.
Ape Escape. And there's like 9 or 10 characters from it. And 8 of them are just different monkeys.
Well, oh yeah. Well, the thing is, I still haven't played this because I wanted to finish Astro's Playroom first, and then I got distracted by Expedition 33, actually. But my kids all played through it and loved it. And when they'd find characters, they'd come, "Hey, Dad, what's this from? What's this guy from? What's this guy from?"
I was Splice and
my kid comes up, he's like, "I haven't played the game, Dad, but you gotta see it. You gotta see it. It's Rudy Rough Knight from Wild Arms." I'm like, yeah!
Yeah, they got Wild Arms in there. They got Ark the Lad. They got Suikoden, which just kind of blew my mind but it was a PlayStation exclusive game.
Yeah.
But
this game just feels like a love letter to gaming. And the other thing is, with Astra's Playland or Playground,
Playroom.
Playpen.
It feels fairly easy. In this game, a lot of it is straightforward, but there are certain levels that just have you banging your head on a wall. But it's not, no, you can never do this. It's just one more run and you'll get it.
They took the correct lessons. They took the correct lessons from things like Fortnite, where it's this easy, just drop right back in.
Yes.
And so death doesn't feel like a big punishment.
Yes, there's a very thin line between too easy and too hard.
Oh yeah, and it's super fun watching a little kid, struggle and learn on this.
Mm-hmm. But there are some levels that just I kept going. But it was one of those. It really does like there are certain levels that are meant to be hyper difficult, and you can tell which ones they are because when you die, the music doesn't stop. It just keeps going and drops you right back in at the spawn point, and it's just like they're expecting you to die. There's like, no, this is just the process. This isn't halting the process, and you have to go through other stuff again. It's just
this isn't failure. This is progress.
This is the game. Get used to it.
This is getting good.
But it's just so fun, and so you're going through and you're rescuing all these little bots, and then certain ones of them are designed to match characters from PlayStation exclusive games. And then there are certain levels at the end of each of the galaxies, in Mario, it's world as opposed to land or level. And, so it's like after the end boss, there's another level where you actually become one of the characters from a popular PlayStation game. So like, you become Kratos, you become Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, you become Nathan Drake, but it's a little, adorable little robot version of them. And as you can see, the art in this is again absolutely charming and adorable. See there, he just rescued Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank.
But and the thing that this is what's interesting is, so we're having a discussion of it has to exceed your expectations. Well, so what's interesting is there are games that maybe, but here's the discussion for me. It's like, okay, there's some games where it's like, oh, that's a 10 out of 10 game. As I've gotten older, it's like, I can see the seams of it more. And the question becomes, is that because I'm older? Is that because everything has been mimicked at this point? And so Ocarina of Time, I think, is a really good example, because it's something that I would consider a 10 out of 10 game, even though I feel if you look at it like with a modern, lens, you'd see a lot of things. You'd be like, oh, okay, this is kind of clunky the way this is done. But, I'm fine with it because that is something that's just of its era. It had to figure things out.
They've done it better, but at the time, I
don't know. I never considered it. I loved Ocarina of Time, but I never considered it a 10 out of 10, even when I played
agree.
It brand new.
I'm with you, but I'm just saying it's also one of those things like they walked so that the future game could run.
Yeah.
Well, actually, speaking of, I see someone's got Mario 64 on here.
Put that on there.
Astrobot got to run because Mario 64 ran, or in this case, triple jump.
Yeah, well, you were talking about the menus. That's what brought this to mind, because again,
this is a fun menu.
You boot this game up, and I know people who spent like 20 minutes playing around on this just before they even got started on the game. And they're like, "Oh, right, this isn't the game."
Well, and you could hold down a button and it'd stay wherever you pulled it for a while.
Yes.
So you make a crazy face and then let go of the button and it all snaps back.
And then you freeze it again and it's in this weird position, like before.
So would you call this a 10 out of 10 game?
For the time, yes.
Yes.
Now that we have better camera controls, no. But for the time, I would actually say yes.
I would still. So again, that depends on what you classify as a 10 out of 10, because this is one that's different than Super Metroid, because Super Metroid still holds up 100%, in my opinion. But this one, I think for what it did, it still gets to keep its 10 out of 10.
Like, it holds up, but man, even when I played it the first time, I did make the joke that Bowser's not the boss. The Lakitu, the camera, is the boss. But no other game gave you that control before, so it was a new feature at the time. So that was more of a technical limitation in what had been implemented to that point. Because every other game before that was like Bubsy 3D, which
yeah.
So okay, I'll reply in a way that we've talked about. It's not a 10 out of 10 for me, but I can see how it would be for someone else.
I will say it's held up timelessly as a result of just what it's done for the speedrunning community by itself. And it's one of those games that has hidden amounts of depths that you didn't realize. My personal favorite being a video of two speedrunners. Someone had modded it so that people could play together, and two speedrunners are racing 8 schmoes to try and collect all the stars and beat Bowser. But they can spread out.
But again, the first time I ever played this was with my cousin at a game display, or a game or a store display, and he said to me, I could see myself playing this game, like just this game, and nothing else. And it's because it was one of those that this feels like a game that was designed by gamers for gamers.
And it was definitely that, and it might have cost the N64 some of its sales because they kept delaying the N64 to make sure they had this ready. And so, and by that point, the PlayStation 1 had already been out like a full year.
Right.
Was it really that long?
Yeah, it was quite a while. Long enough to make people go, wow, CDs are so much better than cartridges for the grand sprawling games we want.
Except for the fact that this game had this game doesn't have loading screens.
Yes.
Which was the big downfall of the PS1. In my
mind. Yes. This is true. It's a trade-off.
Yeah.
Right.
And, but the thing is, if you want to play Final Fantasy VII would not fit on a cartridge, which is why it went to the PlayStation. And there's
now it
loading
would.
Screens. Oh yeah, it fit on a cartridge now. But
but that is 25 plus year old 30-year-old game design.
Though even modern cartridges still have loading screens because a flash cartridge is not as fast as these old motherboards with pins on them.
True.
Because these were ROMs. It was basically reading off of a RAM, which is a lot faster. But still, the point stands.
Indeed. Okay, so what? Okay, I've seen this before, and you always have to explain to me what this game is. Radiant Historia.
So, I put this one in here, and I wanted to discuss how one of the other factors, because I talked about exceeding expectations, but one of the other factors is the stage of life you're in when you play it. And that's not anything that the game can have any possible control over, right? And in my case, Radiant Historia it was specifically the 3DS remake. I didn't play the original on the DS. I played the 3DS. And I had pre-ordered it, and it arrived the day it came out, and arrived right after I had just been laid off from a job. So I played this game while I was in between jobs. It was I was kind of in a rough time where I'd just been laid off and I needed to find a new job. And this game arrived. Part of me was like, oh, should I return it? Because, I don't have an income right now, but I decided to play it. And I was absolutely blown away by it. But I do realize part of it had to be the state of mind I was in when I played this game. Because, this game's an RPG that's it's actually got a really fantastic story, which, well, have you ever seen the movie Stranger Than Fiction?
Love
Yeah.
Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah, so Radiant Historia is definitely the once the author didn't have the heart to finish the book the way it would have been the best ending. But Perfect Chronology kind of changed. It gave an optional ending that was much like that. But this is a story of it's actually the closest game I've seen to have the time travel charm of Chrono Trigger. Because this is a game where the main character can go back to different points in his life. Basically as you play throughout the game, you can go back to previous points in the game and do different branching paths. And but it's a story of kind of honor, sacrifice, and the importance of responsibility. And I don't know, it really hit me very strongly when I played it. And I don't know if I had played it a different time in my life, if it would have hit me as strong as it did. But everything about this game was just fantastic. It had, not the greatest battle system, but it was new, it was different, it tried something different, it was fun. It was unique in its battle system, its story and themes, and I even enjoyed the voice acting on this version. It was just a really well done game. I loved the artwork. I just ended up loving everything about this game. And it hit at a time in my life where, a more melancholy story actually kind of really resonated with me. But I don't know, if you're looking for an Atlas 3DS RPG, this is definitely one to look for, whether the original DS or this one. But everything about it was just phenomenally well executed. But part of me wonders if someone who wasn't in the same state of life and mind that I was in, if it's hit the same. I don't know. But the time of your life that you play a game makes a big difference. A lot of people talk about the nostalgia of your childhood, which is why some of your games you played in your childhood are still your favorite. That can sometimes apply when you're an adult too, depending on what's going on in your life.
Well, and that was kind of what we're discussing with the timing of when the game came out, because sometimes that matters a lot. Like, I remember, I think it's interesting, the Sonic franchise. I think it came in right at the perfect time, right as gaming was starting to get, there was a segment of gamers starting to get into their teen years, and they were looking for something that was a little more attitudinal. And Sonic showed up at the perfect time for that. And so and it's one of those things, would Sonic be a successful franchise if it had come out at a different time? I think if it had come out a few years earlier, I think it would have been the wrong time.
Yeah. Oh, stock. Man, I just love the characters in this game so much. Just a great cast.
We have a stock image here.
I was trying to think. I couldn't come up with the pun. I'm sitting there, like, there's a pun here. What is that?
Yeah, I think the phrase you were looking for is stock footage.
Yes.
We're looking at stock footage.
We're looking at stock footage.
I'm specifically looking at the image. I was just
fair enough. All right.
That is one heck of a schnoz.
I was going to say the beak on that guy.
Right.
Speaking of a game, so actually, since we kind of mentioned it, Super Mario World, I think, is a 10 out of 10 game.
That's another one of those that has a surprising amount of depth to it. You know, for
I'll
a
allow it.
simple,
Yeah.
yeah, for a simple platformer. I mean, there's just a lot to it.
One of the best examples of that kind of proves that point is it's the most popular type of level in terms of like longevity for things like Mario Maker. Because there's just certain mechanics they've put in that, like the spin jump, for example, allows for a lot of mechanical depth. The way the cape move, you can move with the cape, allows you to do some interesting things. And
The
then
cape is remarkably versatile.
yeah, and
Yes.
the other thing is we haven't really touched on is a 10 out of 10 game, especially if it's not the first game, but it needs to perfect on like the good ideas of past games. And Super Mario World, I feel like takes what was in Super Mario 3 and
Yeah.
takes it to the
Well,
next
and three
level.
did the same thing to one.
Yeah. And and we talk about things like why Super Metroid is timeless, but things like Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time, they have rough edges. It's because one are blazing trails, the other are perfecting the formula.
Yeah. I'll agree with that.
And so it's just one of those things that this game, it's still, because I say recently, at this point it was probably 10 years ago, but my grandparents, they had the same Super Nintendo like my entire childhood, and I would go visit them on Sundays. And one time I went down there and I said, I wonder if my old save file is still there. And so I looked, and sure enough, my old save file was still there.
That's a good battery.
Yeah. And I then realized I don't have all the exits.
Ooh.
And and I realized I'd never actually gotten all the exits on Super Mario World, because I didn't actually own a Super Nintendo growing up.
Oh, that's a fun challenge too.
Yeah, and so because some of those exits are rough.
Yeah.
The ones, well, there's one that you either have to like guide a coin, a coin extending
The coin maze thing. Yeah.
coin maze, or what I would do is I'd make it so I'm ducking and flying at the same time and hit that pixel perfect to get through that spot instead of using the coins.
Well,
I mean,
or
there's
or
one
there's-
level there where you have to sacrifice Yoshi.
Well, yeah. There's I think there's more than one of those probably.
I think there's
but
only one
yeah.
where it's required.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do it at any time.
Well, and because a lot of them, they don't actually record. Like, you can also try and do it with Cape Mario, but you have to
Right.
you have to master the actual art of using those capes.
Yeah, the timing so that you can actually keep your verticality is the.
And that's, again, you go to things like Mario Maker. There are I love one of my favorite creators is Ryu Carr. And he just seeing what a true pro can do. It's pretty awesome to see just what they put themselves through. And but again, it goes to the mechanical depth of these Super Mario levels. And people are like doing spin jumps and throwing Galoombas in the air and having to bounce off them as they bounce off walls. And you're just like, I can't do that.
That actually was something that was really innovative about this game that you don't see even in modern Marios, the difference between a normal jump and a spin jump. Like, that was a mechanically interesting and important thing. Because, like, spin jump, you could break some blocks underneath you. You could bounce off of things that you couldn't otherwise. But there were still, you wouldn't want to use it every time because I don't think you got as much distance as you could like a running normal jump.
Yeah.
So
I feel. Were you about to say something, Petrivka?
Uh, no, no.
No.
Okay, sorry. I saw your thing flip up. All right, sorry.
No,
What
I
were
was
you going
gonna
to say,
say,
Baggins?
one thing I've noticed about games like this that also stand the test of time is a lot of times it can even go down into the marketing of it, because a lot of times if a game comes out and there's something neat in it, the marketers are just like, oh, we got to tell everybody about this. And some of them, it's just like, no, we need a little bit of that discovery.
Yeah.
And that comes in with that exceeding expectations. If they tell you every cool thing about the game before you play it, then it can't exceed your expectations. They've told you everything.
For the real-time weapon change.
True.
Oh gosh, but it's just like there's something like, because suddenly it feels like an Easter egg, or it feels like a fun little thing that somebody's put in, and it's not like, oh, here's a fun thing, let's make the game suddenly about that. It's just like, no, this was something that a programmer was playing around with, said, hey, look at this neat thing I did. They say, throw it in, and rather than okay, we need to have this and this and this and this and this. A lot of this feels like there's like, somebody just said, okay, I have, I have this. Can we do something with it? It feels like they're building pieces with what they, they're building something beautiful with what they have, rather than over promising and saying, okay, this is a game that does everything for everybody. Well, no, it doesn't. If it's for everybody, like, because a lot of these games also are a little bit niche, like you were talking about with Hades. It's because Hades is a perfect version of Hades, but Hades is not Mario. Hades is not, an RPG. Hades is Hades.
That is so true that I don't really have a commentary on it. Like, how can you even argue with Hades is Hades?
Well, I'm trying to think how many different rogue games have I played to compare it to.
Well, but the thing is, like, a lot of times people say, okay, this game is like a combination of this and this. It's like, no, Hades is just Hades. Hades isn't, this for this kind of person. It's just, it is its own identity.
Is
it's
it
its
a
own
rogue
game.
Like Diablo 2? Maybe.
Is it kind like, but that the best you can come up with that is
recognizable elements,
But that's kind of, you're having to reach for that.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're having to reach for that is kind of the point I'm making.
Yeah, it's identifiable. Speaking of identifiable, Link to the Past.
Yeah, for me, that is the 10 out of 10 stands the test of time.
Fair. Absolutely fair.
Like, because, I mean, when I played Ocarina of Time, I was comparing it to Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past. And, I went through Ocarina of Time once. I'm like, I'm not going to replay it as much as I did Link to the Past. That's for sure.
Well, I remember when I was playing Ocarina of Time, I was like, oh, this is kind of like this Link to the Past level. Oh, this is like this Link to the Past level. This is the 3D version of this Link to the Past level. And I'm just like, but it's still, in my mind, the 3D version of this Link to the Past level, rather than, this is a cool level. Like, I was thinking of it in terms of a Link to the Past.
Well, like, my oldest son, he still plays Link to the Past. I mean, he does Link to the Past randomizers, for goodness sakes. I don't think he's planning on doing a Ocarina of Time randomizer anytime soon, because he'd rather do Link to the Past.
Uh-huh.
Well, and I do, especially randomizers. I don't think 3D games hold up as well for the randomizer purposes as 2D games do.
Yeah, I think that's also very true. But I don't know. This was a game that I wanted to get good enough that I could play it through. The first time I played it through took me a while. I had, it counts how many times you save and quit, right?
Right.
And I'd get, I think the first time through was probably, in the, I don't know, 80 range or something. But then I'd get to the point where, I beat it and I have like 2 or 3, because it's like I'm like, I bet I can do more of this game in one run, and I got faster and faster and more efficient and
Mm-hmm.
tighten what I wanted to do, and I didn't necessarily always want to. I think there were times I didn't collect all the heart pieces because I'm like, I don't need to, because I'm replaying it.
Well, I mean, there are times people will play the game with a no heart piece run.
I am not one to do that. Though I could if I really wanted to challenge myself.
But I'm just saying, in the same vein, they're like, you don't have to get every heart piece. It's like, I want to play it this way this time. I want to replay this game this way this time.
And though part of what really made this game so effective was the way that they handled the Pegasus boots. I actually think that having a quality of life feature that once you got really good and experienced with it, it speeds up the game a lot. Helped a lot in its replayability.
Not to mention, you can actually glitch it to turn it into hover boots.
I was not good at spamming the hover boots, but
I've never even really tried it. It's just one of those things. Just like, and again, this is one thing I love about these older games, because that's the kind of thing that, a modern company would say, oh, we've got to patch that out. It's just like, no, this is like, the jank is a part of the game. If you do a remaster of it, I want this glitch in there.
Nintendo removing backwards long jumping from.
They did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, from Mario 64 All Stars.
Oh, my goodness.
The 3D
Mario
All-Stars
3D
thing.
All-Stars, yeah.
Yep.
Is that why people were so mad at 3D All-Stars?
That was part of
what they hated about it so much.
That was part of it.
Mm.
I won't say it's all of it.
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta.
I mean, honestly, I still get annoyed when I play other versions of FF4 and I can't do the duplication glitch.
Yeah.
But
yeah, actually, I love the duplication glitch in FF4. It does kind of break the game to a degree, but my goodness.
I mean, the only time I ever used it was I would duplicate Excaliburs and just chuck them at the boss.
Yes,
the final boss.
yes, that was the main use. Same here.
Such a weird sentence out of context.
It's a weird sentence in context, too.
Chucking Excaliburs. It's like, traditionally,
Yes.
there's only one of those.
Well, it's the ninja character would chuck shurikens, but he could also chuck swords and
spears and
spears. So
Sword
the
chucks,
best thing
yeah.
is you duplicate
and one spoon.
you duplicate equipment to throw.
Yes.
and
And-
it was
and one-
OP.
And one spoon that you couldn't duplicate because it wasn't equipable.
That's true. Sad spoon. Though that spoon would do a ton of damage.
I'm also not okay that in later translations they changed it to knife.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, having it spoon. I mean, what do you think was the inspiration of see that Mystery Men movie, the Blue Raja?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I'm saying right now, FF4 was the inspiration for that.
I did not
that Hank Azaria
have
character.
Mystery Men references on my bingo card today.
Yep.
I am to please.
Hank Azaria.
Oh, gotta love Hank Azaria.
But
I actually had not seen that movie until like earlier this year.
I watched it for the first time since I was a teenager in December.
Nice.
But before this turns into a Mystery Men commentary,
Shouldn't it be?
I'm going to go with no.
Oh.
But one of the things that so we've talked a lot about story is one of those things that can make it 10 out of 10. Obviously the gameplay loop,
but isn't necessarily 100% required, because the story in A Link to the Past is basically the story from the original Zelda. It's been built upon a little bit, but it's
Well, it added the Master Sword.
Right, but what I'm saying is a it's not a 10 out of 10 story,
No.
but the game is a 10 out of 10.
No.
Yeah, for me, that is why I prefer Ocarina of Time to Link to the Past, just because I like the story better. But I can also,
And I
but
don't.
again, this goes back to our conversation
I
of
still
you
love
have
the story though, but yes, it is simplistic.
you have to be able to see why it's a 10 out of 10. And
I'm not knocking the story. I don't mean to that as a negative to the story. I'm
No.
just saying, when it comes to particularly games now, it's a very simple story. It's not
Yeah.
a mind-blowing story.
When people are singing
yes,
the praises of this game, they're going, "Oh, dude," in the story. Like that's never a sentence that's uttered, because that's not the focus. That's not what makes it a 10 out of 10.
I wouldn't say that of any Zelda game, honestly.
Right. I agree.
But no, the point is, it's not, the story doesn't have to be jaw dropping for it to be 10 out of 10. I do think it needs to be there.
But
yes.
I mean, some games, the story is what makes it a 10 out of 10, though.
Yes.
And I'm guessing you're trying to get me to talk about one I put up?
Not really, but go ahead and do so.
So, for me, one out of 10 out of 10, and this is a case where I didn't have expectations, and I was absolutely blown away when I played this game. I just picked it up because I saw it used in great condition at Babbage's. Anyone remember Babbage's?
Oh, I remember Babbage's.
It was for $20. I picked up this game, and it quickly grew to be one of my favorites because it is one of the best stories I've ever seen in a game. It's certainly the most
what is this game?
Story. It's Xenogears.
Ah, okay.
So, I mean, in this opening, it's this, massive sci-fi opening, and it ends, this whole scene ends where, the spaceship goes haywire and it crash lands on a planet, and then civilization starts from scratch. And thousands of years pass, and humanity started to repopulate this, this planet that's not Earth. I'll go ahead and skip ahead. But it is still sci-fi. It starts seeming kind of, fantasy-like, but then giant robots fall out of the sky and start fighting in the middle of this peaceful
What are you talking about? I remember when that happened in Lord of the Rings.
I do love a good science fantasy.
So, I mean, this is clearly very much a sci-fi, but it's kind of the whole, there's technology that exists from, this spaceship crash landing on the planet that the majority of humanity has not caught up to. I mean, as the story goes along, there actually is a society that does have the advanced technology, a lot of the advanced technology, where most people are living kind of more peasantish. But it's one of the most expansive stories. Like, I think if the script was written out, I think it would be, honestly, it might compete to a degree with the Wheel of Time series in like book length. Like it's huge.
Well,
at least one of the books. It would definitely be over 1,000 pages.
Okay.
Maybe not the whole series, but
okay, that makes more sense. I was like, you're talking about a 14 and a half book series.
Well, okay, the guy behind this game, he wanted to turn this game into a 9-part series.
Mm-hmm.
That if he had managed to do all that, it would have been as long as Wheel of Time. I want to say this game was actually meant to be, it's episode 5. Like when you beat the game, it says episode 5. So this guy was really, really ambitious.
Now, how closely tied to Xenosaga is this? Because I know there's a connection, but I don't know.
There is a connection. Xenosaga was... He had to make... Because of copyright and whatnot, he kind of had to change up his original plan to make it not be Xenogears. But Xenosaga series is episode 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
And this was episode 5, though the story isn't actually directly tied because, well, changing companies. And then when he changed companies yet another time, he just said, well, okay, I'm going to scrap that whole stuff and start Xenoblade from scratch, you know.
Got it.
But they're all related because it's the same guy, same basic ideas, but he wasn't able to do his original vision. It morphed into two different visions.
Okay.
But, I mean, this story is expansive. And the thing is this is not a perfect game, even though I say it's a 10 out of 10. It's very clear if you get to Disc 2, if anyone's played this game, they know what I'm talking about. There was a part where once you get to Disc 2, they didn't finish the game, and a lot of stuff got cut out, but he still needed the story to happen. And so Disc 2 has a lot of just narration spots where it's like, I still got to tell the story, but we weren't able to implement the game. And so at one point it's like, well, we implemented the dungeon, so we're just going to drop you in the dungeon. Like, it's very clear that they were running out of money. They were competing with resources because Final Fantasy VIII was being developed at the same time and was a higher priority. Part of the reason why I hate Final Fantasy VIII. It's a different discussion.
Wait, Xenogears is Square?
Yeah.
I don't think I realized that.
Yeah. So, that's the thing. Xenogears was Square, which is why he had to when he moved to Namco Bandai, he had to change it to Xenosaga. And then when he went to made Monolith and Nintendo bought Monolith, it had to go Xenoblade.
Got it.
And he was changing up stuff, trying different things, but but like his ambition, even in this game, still wasn't able to do it. So part of it is you can kind of see where he was going and how ambitious he was. And I love how this game was very, a lot of the story was kind of based off of, biblical stories.
Right.
And I mean, it was just so well done. It's funny. I actually did read a comment of someone's like, "Yeah, I decided to become a theology major because of how much I loved Xenogears." So,
wow.
But which is kind of funny. But especially because this is clearly a Japanese game. But Japanese have a fascination with West that even if they're not Christian, they often like to do Christian themes. The Persona series, Shin Megami Tensei does that a lot too. Granted, Shin Megami Tensei does all religions.
Everything.
Does everything. Everything. Literally everything. Yeah.
You need a lot of gods.
Yeah. Yes. Whereas in the case of Xenogears, okay, it's I guess the spoiler warning is it's pretty old at this point. I mean, it's
I actually do intend to play, so I'm going to take my headset off for like.
Oh, okay.
For like 20 seconds. So.
Take it. Okay, yeah. Tell me when your headset's off, I guess. Well, if you don't respond, okay. A supercomputer.
He has yet to find the flaw with this plan.
It's going to make itself God and recreate the biblical story on this new planet where it's God. And it's a fantastic story spanning over, the story itself spans over, generations and eons, though you're specifically episode 5's this person's life. And it's fantastic. Okay. Had to be quick with that because his headphones are off.
I can't hear you. I'm about to put my headphones on again.
Yeah. Yep. So...
Okay.
Hopefully people listening could still hear what I was saying. Overall, the laughter of me asking if your headphones were off and getting no answer. I knew that was the time to say it, so I just spoke over the laughter.
Cool.
But yeah, no, it's... The other thing that's interesting, talking about time of your life you played it. I wasn't the one who put this here. But Jak 2.
That's on my time of my life when I played it.
Why is that for you?
Again, this is a game I didn't expect. Part of that is, part of the reason I loved this so much was also one of the reasons a lot of people got mad at this game because, Jak 2 is a sequel to Jak and Daxter. And they're very, very different games. They play similarly in some aspects, but they're very, very different settings and stories. And for whatever reason, Jak 2 just worked for me. The pacing was good, the story was good, the characters were good, the voice acting was good. And it also felt like, because this came out, like it was clearly an attempt to go for the Grand Theft Auto open world style game.
I'm trying to think, was it Jak 2 or Jak 3 where I felt like they were trying to be darker and edgier than Jak 1 was?
Absolutely.
100%. The first words Jak says is, I've got to kill Praxis.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because he doesn't speak in the first game. And in the second game, they actually have him speak. And the first thing he says is, yeah. And so it's a completely different style of game. But again, it was one of those, as I was playing it, I was just like, I can't put my finger on it. This is just fun. Like I try and do something and the controls respond naturally. I head over to a place and, try and pull off a trick and they've thought of it. There's a lot of that. The designers thought of everything will fit into these games.
That's a good thing to put into your games.
Mm-hmm. That's also, in my opinion, one of the reasons I've found, for me, this is not 100% the case, but there are several instances where games that start to feel like this for me are intentional sequels. Like, not a game that's like, the first game did well, oh, we got to do a sequel. But games that, like, the first one was designed and there's a sequel planned, and in the sequel, they learned from the first game. Rather than trying to just recreate the first game and do the first game again, they learned from the first game and said, okay, here's what we can fix. Here's what we can do better. Here's how we can polish it and make it an even better game. And so Jak 2 does that. Assassin's Creed 2 does the same thing, although that's not a 10 out of 10, but it's one of those, they learned a lot from the first game. Suikoden 2, which is, again, probably tied for my favorite game with Claire Obscure. It's a lot like the first game, but better. And so again, it exceeds expectations because I'm like, ooh, I'm looking for more of the first game. This is even better than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Speaking of which, for Suikoden 2, should I just play the remaster or should I play the
remaster is a great remake. If you can play the original, I always love the original, but remaster does the original proud.
Because I got it on PSN, which lets me play it on just about every PlayStation console on planet Earth. That's
right.
one thing I like about PSN. They don't make me re-buy everything.
Uh-huh.
For every console.
There are a few small a few small quality of life updates that might make the remaster worth playing, but I'll always, they also did some retranslations, and I prefer the slightly janky dialogue of the first.
Okay, so you think I should stick with the PSN copy I have then?
I would say take your pick. Either one is good.
Okay.
My preference is the original, but the remaster is good enough that I will happily play the remaster, and not complain, oh, it's not the original. It's a very good.
Yeah. One thing though, if I play the remaster, I think I'd have to play it on the PS5, whereas I could play this one on the PSP or a Vita, which is nice.
That's true.
Which is nice. But yeah, no, the other thing that I see here, I just want, because this is a very different style game. Who put Stardew Valley?
I'm guessing Baggins.
I did not. That was Trivka.
All right. Explain yourself.
So, I mean, obviously, this is not the only farming game ever made.
I don't know.
But
Judging from the number of
this-
farming sims that are clearly trying to emulate it, I think it might be.
It's
Okay,
the reason.
as an
It's the
OG
reason that
Harvest Moon fan.
so Stardew
one
Valley
played.
Stardew Valley though is the reason that farming sims are so popular now.
Yeah, no. The person who made Stardew Valley was a fan of Harvest Moon.
He was
And-
making a Harvest. He was trying to remake his own version of Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
Anyway, Pirate.
So, I mean, we've talked a lot about various features, gameplay, story, innovation. I mean, like, there's nothing super innovative, I would say, about Stardew Valley, but it's really just like a tight package is really, I think, what works for me. The vibe, it's just a vibe. Like, this is the kind of game. It's a cozy game, which is kind of something that's also become popular to say. But this is a game that you can easily sink hours and hours, evenings and late into the midnights. I got the next day because the day is only about an hour long, and like, well, gosh, I want to get my crops and I want to sell them. And freaking Pierre is closed on Wednesday. And my gosh,
Yeah, I've got 467 hours in this game, and I haven't played it in about 4 or 5 years. So,
it's cozy.
Yeah.
The music is so good. Love the music.
all done by Eric Barone.
Yeah, like this one man show is it's remarkable. I mean, the characters that they put in the town, they're all really nice and pretty well developed. Like the whole aspect of the different seasons and different events that happen. I mean, like, you can get that kind of thing in a Harvest Moon or an Animal Crossing, but there's something just very tight about this game, and that's really what just puts it on a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I do like how it added the improvements that Rune Factory was going for, with the caves and the monsters that you can attack. Though I will admit, I do think it actually implemented that better than Rune Factory did, as much as I love Rune Factory. But yeah. No, it's a good game. It's not perfect, but I like it a lot.
But it's one I can understand why that it would be a 10 out of 10 for somebody.
Oh yeah. I mean, heck, I want to make my own game styled like this too. I mean,
I will say if you like this and you haven't checked out Fields of Mystria, it's worth checking out.
I bought it. It's on my to
That's
playlist.
Still early access, right?
It's still early access, but I think it's supposed to be released in the next 6 months.
Oh, okay.
I don't shy away
Just
from
put
early
out
access.
they just put out their, I think, penultimate update before the
1.0.
So should I wait then at this point?
So I'm not saying that the next update isn't 1.0, the one after that. So it's the penultimate early access update. But the next one I think is just supposed to come very soon. So
As long as the early access is a developer I trust, I'm perfectly fine with early access.
Yeah, this is one I bought Fields of Mystery is one I bought on a whim and was very, very pleased and surprised. But this is one I think I saw Day 9 playing it. And I was just like, ooh, I like Harvest Moon. And then I played this one and I was just like, oh, this is better Harvest Moon. So
yeah,
because like Patrific was saying, it feels polished. But again, Harvest Moon walks so that Stardew could run.
Yeah.
Well, and that's part of the issue that we were talking about is like when you said it's because it's clearly inspired by Harvest Moon, and talk about coming out at the right time. I mean, that's a fan base that has not been treated well.
No, no,
Oh
the
gosh.
the endless Story of Seasons. I mean, the split between Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon, and just the what do we want to call it? The
Well,
Call of Duty syndrome, where they have to spit out
yep.
one every year, and it's
And neither of them has
ugh.
quite stuck the landing.
Yeah. Well, honestly, ever since what was it, Save the Homeland, Harvest Moon's kind of
Yep.
been not doing well.
Yep. That's the first one I played that I was a little like, wait, what?
I've never even heard of
Which is a shame, 'cause
Save the Homeland.
Harvest Moon saved the homeland. It was on the
Yeah.
PS2.
Save
It's
the
on the
homeless.
PS2. It was cell shaded before cell shaded looked good. Um, it it tried to implement a story mode and have like a definite end, but like they made it. Someone's saying that like you could like ignore farming entirely and beat the game by like Spring 5 if you were trying to.
Yeah, the
Like,
farming aspect of it was negligible.
That reeks of someone who is like, man, this game will never scale. Put more action in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't actually. I had access to it, but the person who lent it to me, I don't know. There was a couple of games that he did this to me, but the other one was Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter, where he just went and grabbed the game and he's like, I was so disappointed in it here, and he just chucks it at me across the room. Here, you can borrow it and play it. And I didn't actually end up playing Save the Homeland that much, or Dragon Quarter. But like, granted, he set my expectations really low, so it made it a lot easier to exceed them, but they didn't.
The sad thing is a lot of them have very interesting, good concepts, but horrible execution. Like the one that I was just really disappointed in was Innocent Life, which is subtitled what is it?
What was it?
A futuristic,
Futuristic Harvest Moon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it just lost so much of the charm.
Yeah, that's the thing. I bought it. I was gonna play it, and I actually talked to you about it. And after talking to you about it, I didn't actually ever end up playing it.
Well, now I feel bad because like maybe you'll like it. I don't know, but
well, you were the one who told me that like there was no dating
really?
options.
Yeah, and I'm just like that was kind of the part of the charm for my lonely little teenage self.
Yeah, I mean, heck, the fact that there were multiple choices that you could choose between in Harvest Moon was like one of its selling features.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no cozy game fan, but even I know I'm like that's part of it.
Sorry, Petrivka, I feel like we kind of stole your discussion about Stardew, though.
Yeah, that's okay. I pretty much said what I wanted to say. I like this game.
Cool. No, it's a phenomenal game.
This is this goes into
300 hours.
Yeah, this goes into the category of me of I would never touch it with a 15-foot pole. It's not my type of game.
Uh-huh.
But it's one of those, again, looking at it and looking at the response it gets, I see why.
It revived a genre.
Yeah.
Well, that and another thing was it also added multiplayer into a genre that multiplayer isn't really designed for, but yet it still worked. It made the game 1,000 times more stressful, but it worked.
Well, because you can't pause in multiplayer.
Yes, the clock does not stop ever in multiplayer, no matter what, and that's rough. But me and Lizzie played through a lot. Like a lot of the time were us playing together, and it ended up with me doing all the farming and her doing all the battling in the caves. It's kind of interesting it
Now-
worked out that way. But
Now, to be fair, a lot of that is because it was one guy who developed it and the game exploded. So he suddenly has, a
yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
money, and he doesn't have to worry about work. And
well,
so
that's
he's
the
able to
thing. He just keeps adding
making it
more and
better.
more features
Yes.
to it, and people keep buying more copies on more systems.
Well, and it's also got
and
it's also got a very active mod community. There are a few mods that like expand on the game even.
Yeah, there's some good mods, there's some terrible mods, but that's pretty normal, I guess.
Yeah, but like there's one called Stardew Valley Expanded, which basically adds in a whole additional cast of characters in addition to the originals and expands on story and stuff. And it's just like, this is impressive stuff. And I think he's actually now officially working with Eric Barone on, like he's joined his team because he was doing such a good job with the mod.
Oh, that's cool.
But what I'm saying is it's a good enough game that it inspires that sort of modding. Like, that says something, that people want to play around with the game and say, oh, what can I do with this?
And that kind of goes back to what we were discussing with the fact that it needs to inspire others for it to be a 10 out of 10 game.
That's like, we've been playing a lot of Hytale lately, and that was inspired by Minecraft.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Don't even.
It hides its influences so well.
This reminds me of Robot Rally.
Hey, did you know that Richard Garfield, for slandering them, they don't even know this podcast exists? Anyway.
So, another one about scratching that itch just right. Satisfactory.
It's almost like it's in the name.
Okay. I totally see why it's a 10 for you.
This is a 10 for me. And the thing is the game that inspired it is, it's Factorio. And I love Factorio. But there's something I like about this game that Factorio does not have. In Factorio, when you get towards the end, your minefields are running out, and you're just constantly, oh shoot, this minefield's about to empty. I need to go expand and make my train track go out to the next minefield and have that just to keep it running. You're just constantly, you get to the point where you're just feeding the beast that you've already built. Whereas Satisfactory, they're like, no, your nodes are endless. So once you put down that miner, you're not worried about it running out. It's a question of how much can you extract on it, and can upgrades get more out of it. So you want to maximize this. So once you build something that's working, it's permanently built. And I like how that way, because you're not worried about something that you've set up suddenly running out of resources coming in because you depleted something. I'd like
more Vespine gas.
Yeah. Whereas this one, you're like, I can expand, I can keep building, I can continually improve and make it better and better and better. Whereas, like I said, in Satisfactory, I got to a point where I'm like, I'm no longer building my factory. I'm just constantly expanding my mining fields, and that's all I'm doing. And it gets very boring once you reach that point. But the way they design Satisfactory, it's made so you never hit that point because it doesn't happen. And I really like that. And it makes it a lot easier for me to dump, over 1,000 hours into, which I have.
Well, and that's what's funny about this is it's like, I just had a thought and it just went away. It's, dang it, I lost it. Dadgummit.
I lost it.
One thing I also love about this game is it's a combination of, it's a lot of cognitive work, it's a lot of puzzle solving, it's a lot of planning, building, and making stuff. But at the same time, once you've made your plan, you're like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm just can execute now. So you could put on, I put on like a podcast on the other side where I'm listening to something while I'm just executing. Work can be that way. I do programming. There are times where, you're sitting and you're thinking really hard, planning out what you're doing, and then you're like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Now I just need to execute. And I kind of like how it has that loop of, planning and then execution, and then planning and then execution. I mean, it's designed for an engineer. I mean, it's an engineering game. It's designed for engineers, 100%.
100%.
And Ada is your creepy GLaDOS.
Your GLaDOS, yeah, yep. Also, the fact that there's GLaDOS does also give it charm that Factorio did not have.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. You were talking about how the nodes are endless, which I find ironically amusing because in this game, you're essentially a Captain Planet villain. Your job is to extract every ounce of resources, and you end up paving paradise and all this kind of stuff. But because the nodes are endless, it's like, oh, I can be a Captain Planet villain, and it's not bad. I'm not using up all the resources. There is no end to the resources.
Also, I'm not a Captain Planet villain in my worlds, as you saw.
That's right. You built over the void.
I build over the void, or I build it, 100 feet in the air. I build it on top of the trees. I don't actually cut down the trees. It's a lot easier to. I don't know. I have this giant atrium. I treat the planet as my factory's atrium for enjoyment. It's my garden. Well, it's a lot easier to make the terrain flat when you build it, 100 feet in the air.
Conquer the land. That's what I do.
Well, that your first factory is just you don't even build platforms. It's just directly on the dirt, and it's this giant spaghetti. Yeah. And it's also just kind of fun to see the way different people play, and like I showed you my factory, Baggins, and you're like, I'm not even sure we're playing the same game.
Yeah, like he's building NASA, and I've got Tinker toys that I'm not quite sure how to assemble.
That and also the countless hours trying to optimize fluid flow through your factory.
Fluid is what killed me in that game.
Fluids are what kill a lot of people.
To me, this is one of the very few 10 out of 10 games that was not made in Japan.
This one was made in Sweden.
Yep, Sweden.
Claire Obscure was made in France.
These are true statements. But, all right, so did we figure out what a 10 out of 10 game was? Not really, but,
Everyone has our own thing, I think.
We said a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we did. That's also a great
Words were spoken.
A great description for our entire podcast.
So, I don't know. You seem to really like the expectation line, though.
Yeah, I think it's. I think it's a good. What's the word?
Factor.
Yeah, because like it's I wouldn't say it's like if it does that, then it's 10 out of 10. But I do think on some level, if it's going to be 10 out of 10, it needs to at least do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've gone into some games with really low expectations.
Well, I mean, one thing I like to do, especially with like obscure Japanese RPGs, is I like it when it's an RPG hardly anyone's heard of, and you look on Metacritic and it's got like a 65. I'm like, okay, no one's like super in love with this game, but I'm intrigued by it. I'm going to see how it goes. And some of those I end up enjoying quite a lot just because, partly because, I don't have some huge expectations of it and no one's overhyping it. And that can do a lot to actually make a game better. So sometimes a good review can kill a game, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I mean, it's not like there's a sign in my room that says, if at first you don't succeed, lower your expectations.
Yeah, you got in trouble for that.
I did get in
that
trouble
and
for
also
that one.
like. Wait, what? By who?
His
my
dad.
Oh yeah.
And then he has to explain, no, that's his mom sent that to him. It's his family sense of humor. This is
I
just
didn't explain much to him about it after. It was just like, whatever.
But at the same time, when you look at modern games journalism, where a lot of times, there's some shadiness of, possibly money and services exchanging hands that, render a review much higher than it should. And those games are the ones that are the absolute most disappointing, because it's like, oh, it had a 90, a 95 on Metacritic, and then when people play it, like, this game's trash.
How much? It's like it had a 95 on Metacritic. I wonder how much that cost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But point is, 10 out of 10 games in the eye of the beholder. But most importantly, we behold. We get to decide what it is. And so, if you don't agree with us, that's perfectly fine. Leave a comment. Because you're allowed to like what you like and not like what you don't. All right, let's get this wrapped up. Let's start with Looney. Do you want to promote anything?
Lizzie's stream, but beyond Lizzie's stream, I'm going to quickly promote Final Fantasy VI, because Final Fantasy VI is awesome.
It is
Almost
awesome.
like we did an entire deep dive.
Fantasy 8 because you looked at so much.
True.
Say what? Satisfactory? Yeah, that one's worth
He said
promoting
Final
as well.
Fantasy 8.
No, not Final Fantasy 8.
Ratsa Fratsa.
It is my favorite, but
Is
that's
it really?
that's another time.
That's your favorite Final Fantasy is 8?
Yes, it is.
Oh, man. Well, as we said, eye of the beholder and all that.
That is a whole other conversation to have that I think we
I
just started
that's why I didn't want to initiate it, but I kind of just
just drop that grenade and walk away.
just I want to walk away.
Especially after I talked about, Xenogears and its relationship with 8. And man.
Then, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna save this one.
It's gonna drop a grenade.
It's awesome. All right.
Is that what Patrivka's promoting?
Dropping grenades. He is a decent demo, man.
No, Final Fantasy 8.
Oh.
Yeah, is Pirate gonna promote Final Fantasy 8?
Actually, that was not my intent. My intent was to promote Project Hail Mary, which I have not yet seen. But
I do want to see that
it's
one.
so good, and I've heard the movie is a very faithful adaptation.
I've heard
Wait, what?
great things about the movie. Project Hail Mary. It's by the same guy who wrote The Martian. Andy Weir.
Oh, Andy Weir. Okay, what's it about?
Son's dying. Scientist has to figure out. Wakes up with amnesia.
Has to save the world.
We'll leave it at that.
Okay, either by like restarting fusion or moving something of that to another planet, sort of thing.
To tell you more would be kind of giving away a lot.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Okay.
You can read the book now, or you can see the movie now.
And the book is excellent. I prefer The Martian, but the book is absolutely excellent.
I think I might actually prefer Hail Mary. Surprisingly, I didn't think I would, but
that doesn't
it's
The book
really
Hail
good.
Mary, right?
Project Hail
Mary.
I mean, the book Project Hail Mary, right? Because
yes,
I still haven't seen the movie The Martian, but I did enjoy the book a lot.
I love the movie The Martian.
The movie's quite good.
It's one of those I love both the book and the movie individually.
Yeah, in that case, I'd still probably want to read the book first.
I would recommend it.
You can do that.
And I would recommend avoiding all possible spoilers, not even a trailer.
I mean, honestly, that was the impetus for me to finally break down and read it. People have been telling me about the book, but I'm like, I got to see this before the trailers start coming out because it's going to spoil me, and I just want to know everything.
And having seen the trailers, there are big spoilers.
Yeah, they kind of are.
I honestly don't see trailers anymore.
I do from time to time.
Like the only time I ever like trailers, I don't really get commercials. I don't see commercials anymore. So if I see a trailer, it's because I purposely watched it.
Same.
The trailer posted on YouTube.
I go to movies and they have the trailers there.
Those are going to be difficult to avoid.
Yeah, there have been few movies of late that I've really wanted to see, but there are a few out there.
There are times where I think I just want to go to a movie like half an hour late, since it's usually that long before it starts.
Hey, by the way, Hoppers is bop. It's fun.
You're saying Hoppers is
Not what I've
boppers?
heard, but okay.
Soccer boppers?
Well, you heard wrong.
I never thought they could make a film off of that, but hey. All right. And then Baggins, do you want to promote anything?
I will promote The Wheel of Time. It's this small series that was written by a couple of indie authors that people
It's as long as Xenosaga.
Yeah, not quite as long. Almost as long as
yeah, if it's stretched, it might reach it.
Sorry, I'm super tired and I'm just like choosing violence.
No, but no, because Brandon Sanderson's now doing leather-bound editions of it, and so I bought my copy and realized how much money I'm going to shell it. But it also made me just think, I want to read these again. I really want to read these again, and I'm on book 4 and absolutely loving it. I'm in it again. Different state of mind, different headspace, and just loving it.
Dude, book 4, if I remember correctly, book 4
is one of the best.
Isn't that I think it's isn't that one have a lot of Perrin in it too, which I love?
That might be 5. I can't remember.
It's 4 or 5 that's like one of my favorites of
4 has a lot of Rand and Matt, and I think it does have a lot of Perrin as well. But it's a lot of Rand and Matt together.
Yeah. Oh, Shadow Right. Yeah, I think. Yeah, 4 and 5 are like some of the best. My problem is when I finally wanted to read Knife of Dreams, I started reading it, and I'm like, I can't remember who half these characters are, and I couldn't. It's like I'm at the point. It's like I think I could tell Knife of Dreams like this book's gonna be good, but I feel like I have to like read through like all the previous books again to remember what the heck was going on.
See, I fell off of the series.
I need to read an abridged edition.
Yeah, I fell off of the series during book, I think 9, which is the Crossroads of Twilight.
Yeah.
I got about half. I got because Crossroads of Twilight is basically just people responding to what happened in the previous book.
That's exactly the problem with
the series box
is because you hit the wall, the meat grinder that is Crossroads of Twilight. That by the time you need a break, and then when you pick up Knife of Dreams, you're like, crap, it's been too long now.
And what I'm saying is, I fell off the series halfway through the book. I didn't even finish it. And then I was like, when Brandon finally finished it, I was like, okay, I'm just going to read them all. And so I got the audiobooks and just powered through the entire series.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. Yeah.
Welcome to the Wheel of Time podcast.
So anyway.
Where the books are made up and the page counts don't matter.
Yes.
All right. Then you guys can find me twitch.tv/splicestream. You know the deal. And I have been playing a lot of Hightail on that with Baggins and Lunisar, and Breakfast is now on the server. And you should come play Hightail with us. It's great.
Well, for our next discussion, what makes a game an 11 out of 10? Because I think we